All right, today we're diving into a really stark, symbolic world to explore a profound philosophical choice. We're talking about a battle between two totally competing ways of looking at existence. One that says peace is found in nothingness, and another that finds meaning in living it all over again. So our story starts in the Abbey, a place that seriously feels like it's straight out of a Gothic noir novel. But it's not just a building, it's an idea. It's a place where the self, with all its messy feelings and pains, is seen as a mistake that needs to be erased, a cage that needs to be dissolved. Okay, here's the game plan for our journey. We're going to look at these two opposing worlds, really dig into the Abbey's whole philosophy of erasure, and then face the Jester's ultimate test. After that, we'll see the Wanderer's huge decision, and finally, we'll unpack what it actually means to achieve a sovereign triumph of being. Okay, let's get right into it. At the absolute heart of this story is a huge conflict, and it's represented by two completely different landscapes and the ideas they stand for. Now, this is where it gets really interesting because the environment itself is a metaphor. On one side, you've got the Abbey, a gilded cage. Think wax fruit and soft lamp glow. It's all about a safe but kind of hollow existence. And on the other side, the desert. We're talking mountain frost and searing silence. It's a symbol of a harsh but totally authentic freedom. It really is a choice between comfortable stagnation and raw, real existence. And this slide just nails the two core philosophies clashing here. You've got the logic of zero. That's the Abbey's whole deal, a systematic return to nothing, finding peace by just erasing the self. And then there's the logic of one, which is the total opposite, a defiant, almost violent yes to life, a sovereign triumph of being you, no matter what it costs. So, let's dig into that first idea a little deeper, the logic of zero. This is the philosophy that really haunts the velvet gloom of the Abbey. So, what is the logic of zero, really? At its core, it's the argument that being an individual, being separate from everything else, is the original sin, the source of all our suffering. It's an ontological error, and the only way to fix it, the only true peace, is to undo that mistake and just dissolve back into a zero-tension state of non-existence. So what about the classic hero, the Nietzschean overman who forges their own path? Well, from the Abbey's point of view, that person is just a louder cry in the dark. Their powerful will is nothing more than static disturbance, a pointless fight against the inevitable pull of the void. Because in the end, even the brightest flame is going to get snuffed out by the infinite water of the abyss. And here's the crucial point, right? The Abbey offers a way out of the whole cycle of pain and pleasure, of winning and losing. It offers the ultimate escape, that absolute final peace you can only find when you cease to be. All right, let's leave the Abbey behind and head out into the desert. We're about to see how all this builds toward the Wanderer's ultimate test, which is given by, well, a truly bizarre character. And here he is. Our guide is the uncanny Jester, who's kind of like this Gothic tempter figure. He shows the Wanderer an hourglass, but this is no ordinary hourglass. It's an instrument of truth, a kind of fractured mirror that contains every single moment of the Wanderer's life, the good, the bad, all of it. And then the Jester asks this absolutely devastating question, and I want you to really think about this for yourself. Would you agree to relive your entire life on a loop forever if you couldn't change a single thing? Every mistake, every regret, just locked in for all eternity? See, the Jester's test is basically designed to break your will. He's betting that once you see the full crushing weight of your unchangeable past, every single ontological error, you won't embrace it. You'll be so overwhelmed you'll actually beg for the Abbey's way out, the grace of the abyss. But the Jester's bleak outlook isn't the only voice out there in the wasteland. There's another guide, the Red Spectre, who shows up to push the Wanderer towards a totally different answer, the logic of one. And this is the philosophy of amor fati, literally a love of one's fate. It's this incredible challenge to not just tolerate your life, but to love it so completely that you would actually want it to repeat forever, suffering and all. It reframes pain not as some mistake to be erased, but as a crucial part of a beautiful and, terrible whole. And this just brilliantly lays out the final choice. The Abbey looks at the end of life as a kind of midwife that delivers you into the peace of nothingness.
But the wanderer, who's guided by the logic of one, chooses to see life as lightning, a fierce, beautiful, and temporary flash of energy that you have to embrace while it's there.
So when the jester asks him if he would live it all again, forever, the wanderer's answer is just one word, a total, unconditional yes to his entire being. By saying yes and turning that hourglass himself, the wanderer is performing an act of radical responsibility. That unchangeable past is no longer this crushing weight that's been forced on him. It becomes a testament to his own agency, a life he's claiming completely as his own, warts and all. So, what does this choice actually lead to? What's the final fate for those who follow the logic of zero versus those who follow the logic of one? This slide just lays out the two destinies so clearly. For the Abbey, the path ends when the terminal shutter falls. Their gift is the void, and their outcome is to become a fractured mirror that dissolves into darkness. The Wanderer's path, though, leads to the eternal recurrence of the storm. His gift isn't peace, it's his own agency, and his outcome isn't to be extinguished, but to become a light that actually generates its own source. It's the ultimate choice, erasure versus eternal becoming. This right here is what's known as a transvaluation of values. The wanderer's defiant yes takes the very thing the Abbey called a mistake, his own individuality, and turns it into the source of all meaning, a sovereign triumph. And this is really the ultimate takeaway. The Abbey offers the grace of giving up, of escape. But the wanderer, by facing his entire existence and saying yes to it, finds a completely different kind of grace, one that's earned, not just given. And that leaves us with the final question, doesn't it? When you're faced with a life that's full of both joy and pain, which path is the true grace? The quiet peace of erasure or the defiant dignity of living it all over again? That's something to think about.